My name is Jennifer Wilkins. I'm the manager of the Blue Mountains Aboriginal Culture and Resource Centre, and I'm a Darug and Gundungurra woman from the Blue Mountains area, and I'm born and bred Blue Mountains mob.
Well, my name's Carol Cooper, and we're in Darug and Gundungurra country in the beautiful Blue Mountains. As far as I'm concerned, the best place on earth. It's an amazing place, this, and what we're discussing today, it breaks my heart. But having said that, please let me thank you very much for bringing it to our...
I work in national parks. I work a lot with some fantastic people, and our main mission in Discovery is to education.
My name is Chris Tobin. I work up here as an Aboriginal Discovery Ranger for national parks. I also do other work. I'm an artist.
Gundungurra and Darug country. I want to take you there. When we look out over these valleys, we're reminded of the ancestors, how they lived on this country, and the legacy they left us with. Thousands of years of occupation, and yet, to look at this place, you'd assume that no one had ever been here. It's a living, breathing example of the way our people lived on this earth, of their responsibility to care for their country, keeping it right for now and for future generations. Blue Mountains is now a World Heritage listed site. It's over 1 million hectares preserved landscape. There are 6 Aboriginal language groups within that World Heritage area, and it's testament to their care and responsibility that we now have a World Heritage area, let alone a national park. It's when I look around and I see how beautiful this place is, I know that it's because of those ancestors and the traditional people who continue to care for their country. Basic. Since those days, we've certainly raised a profile in the community. Many people familiar with tipware.
Things be thrown out. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just modelling some wearable clothes out, and sort of thought about it in the clothes that Mum finds from tip sites around the Blue Mountains area.
Going into the earth, and these things don't need to be there.
The No Waste on Country art exhibition project and the Tip Teddy calendar project, we're able to involve a lot of the community in the process of developing these items and these projects. What these people are saying isn't scripted, it's pure, it's what they believe in, and this project wouldn't be able to run without the people behind the camera who, have the passion in the first place.
We're here at the Heritage Centre in Blackheath, New South Wales, in the Blue Mountains National Park. This is the location for the No Waste on Country, Leaving Only Footprints art exhibition that we held back in November. The artists worked on pieces that reflected either culture, country, or those issues of waste in the landscape that affect culture and country. Many of the pieces had materials that were collected from National Park or around people's homes, and they were put together in a way that reflected those issues and of course culture. So lots of Aboriginal people, traditional owners, as well as people from off-country, different areas, who have made this place their home. Now my job there as the cultural development worker means that I can develop programs that are either cultural but more artistic. And so when I was given the job, I thought about the things that I was passionate about, and well, the thing that I am passionate about is waste, and looking at new ways and the right way to deal with waste. So we had an opportunity to take a group of local artists out to Katoomba Waste Management Facility, and I wanted them to get a sense of seeing where urban waste goes, the waste that we put out when our trucks come to our houses and pick up our rubbish, where that rubbish goes and how it's treated out to Katoomba Waste Management Facility. And I wanted them to get a sense of seeing where urban waste goes, the waste that we put out when our trucks come to our houses and pick up our rubbish, where that rubbish goes and how it's treated. The things that we learnt about that site were very, very important for all of us, because it gave us a sense of it belongs to us, that issue of waste there, and how we're dealing with it, how councils are dealing with it, belongs to us because it's our rubbish in there as well. So that was also a very interesting thing that we learned while we were out there. It's up to us really. It's up to us about what we're throwing into landfill, and I got very excited that we started to talk about this stuff, because we find waste even in some of our most remote places in the national park, but also places where Aboriginal people have a deep connection to, particularly some of their dreaming sites, and we've seen some of the impact of waste areas. So for me, it's exciting in that the Blue Mountains Aboriginal community is starting to look at this new way of living on the landscape and looking at our new responsibility, but also the idea that I'd love other Aboriginal and Islander communities to join together and participate in exhibitions like No Waste on Country, Leaving Only Footprints.
I get the opportunity to deliver what I consider to be important cultural messages. These are really, I guess, explaining that we have a tradition in this country of being great environmental stewards. That these materials are new, and so part of what we do is to educate people about the new materials. And so we'll show how these types of materials are made and how they were used, and the kids will tell us what they're made of and things like that. And we'll show that these kind of things can end up in the bush, no problem. And people have been doing that for thousands of years. But these days, we've got new materials. And these new materials, the scientists tell us, can be around in our environments for 300 years.
You can't help but question how much we've impacted and continue to impact on the landscape today. And the amount of blue plastic in this bower, I do just find so disturbing. It's kind of exciting in one way. These bowerbirds are amazing creatures. This bower will have been recycled by countless bowerbirds already, satin bowerbirds that is. There's different bowerbirds all across Australia. But our local guys are very dark black with beautiful blue eyes and a really shiny, sleek sheen to them, to their feathers. And once upon a time these guys would have blue and yellow and green kind of treasures, things like snail shells, feathers, berries, flowers and stuff. And you will still, this debris, actually find the occasional natural treasure in amongst here. But for the most part, as you can see, most of these treasures didn't exist until, certainly within the last century or so. But yeah, there are still some beautiful things. I'm disturbing these things here. Beautiful feather that I imagine would have once been a real pride and joy collectible for a satin bowerbird. It is kind of funny, these guys, as you can see, clothes pegs are very popular, and plenty of them get pinched from my washing line just up the road here, no doubt. The blue plastic lids are particularly disturbing, particularly the rings off these sort of ones, things like this that can actually get trapped around a bird's beak or throat and cause tragic problems. Also tiny little things like pen lids and stuff that a lot of not just the bowerbirds but other birds around can swallow in mistake of berries or whatever. And obviously the animal will go back to the earth, but the plastic won't be very recyclable at all, and who knows how many critters can suffer from that. Only ever try and buy your milk and juice products with non-blue or non-yellow lids if you can. Milk carton, of course, is the obvious solution.
So we're trying to raise awareness on that, that one, that we have this very proud tradition of keeping the country clean, and alerting people to the fact that that's not happening necessarily.
Today's country looks very different. Highways, streets, buildings, and people from every corner of the earth. And mobs from other Aboriginal countries visiting here, passing through, and even living here. For traditional owners, the Blue Mountains is their home, their country, their culture, their past, their present, their future. A place of overwhelming beauty, and the country demands respect. And the country shows us how, and it shows us what happens when we don't respect it.
The exhibition that we concentrated on was detailing down the bottom of Echo Point. And Echo Point is where you go to see the Three Sisters. It's the most visited Aboriginal site in Australia. And sadly, the rubbish down the bottom is a testament to that too. We've got decades and decades of rubbish piled up on top of each other, and it's not like you can even point to when that finished. It's still going on. So this exhibition is very important.
The Katoomba Council and the staff here at the Waste Management Facility have been really dedicated in the way that they've tried to manage this site. I know that as an Aboriginal person, you know, I come to a place like this and I'm reminded of our people and their management of country, their country. And of course, country looks different today, and with that, there's new responsibilities. So since the upgrade back in September 2010, we have a new reuse shed. This is the end of the line for everything. So if you can get it here, then you're saving the environment. You're a real eco-warrior, you know. This is our last chance to be responsible and to reuse.